You know that feeling, that little niggle of doubt that pops up just when you're about to step outside your comfort zone?
Oh, absolutely. Like right before a big pitch, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or maybe trying something new, or even just a tough conversation. Well, for this deep dive, we've gathered some really fascinating material. It shines a light on how we can actually navigate those feelings and build a stronger core of self-belief.
Yeah, that's right. Today we're exploring the powerful connections between what you believe you can do, that's self-efficacy, and how you value yourself, which is more like self-confidence or self-esteem.
And resilience too, right? How you bounce back.
Exactly. Resilience and, crucially, how you manage your emotions. We'll see how nurturing these kind of interconnected areas can really pave the way for greater well-being and, help us achieve what's important to us.
And our exploration today comes from a really diverse set of sources. We've got a compelling look at a young athlete working with a mental performance coach, some truly inspiring stories from people who built successful businesses from the ground up.
Yeah, those are great.
And some insightful research into what actually fuels confidence and overall well-being.
And what's fascinating is how these different worlds, sports, entrepreneurship, personal development, they actually offer remarkably similar lessons when it comes to building that inner strength.
That's a great point.
So whether you're facing pressure on the ice like the athlete or in the boardroom or just in your own life, the underlying principles for cultivating self-belief and navigating challenges, well, they share some surprising common ground.
Absolutely. So our goal today is to extract those key insights, maybe uncover some of those unexpected connections, and give you, the listener, a real shortcut to understanding how to cultivate a more resilient sense of self and navigate whatever comes your way. And to help us do just that, we have our expert guide with us. Okay, let's jump right into one of the really compelling stories from our sources this journey of a young athlete. It's a case study from January of this year, right? Focusing on a 10-year-old goalie. What was the main hurdle he was facing?
So the case study paints this picture of a young kid really struggling with his confidence in the net. After he felt he'd made mistakes during games, he'd get caught in this sort of spiral of negative emotions.
I can picture that.
Yeah. And it wasn't just a passing feeling. It was actually impacting his ability to stay focused and maintain his composure during, crucial moments of the game. He was replaying past errors in his head instead of staying present.
Okay, let's unpack this a little. That feeling of getting stuck on a mistake, it's so universal, isn't it? What was the catalyst for change for him? What shifted?
The real shift happened when he started working regularly, weekly, I think, with a mental performance coach named Gabe from CEP Mindset.
Okay.
The coaching focused on equipping him with specific mental strategies, tools, really, to better manage those emotions and, crucially, to build a stronger sense of belief in his abilities as a goalie.
And the case study highlights some pretty significant positive changes because of this coaching, right? What kind of things?
Definitely. Several key improvements emerged. He developed a noticeable increase in his overall confidence and self-belief on the ice. That was big. He also established a consistent pregame routine that incorporated visualization techniques, essentially mentally rehearsing successful plays.
Right, seeing himself succeed.
Exactly. And maybe most interestingly, he even created an alter ego that he could consciously step into when he was playing.
An alter ego? That sounds intriguing. How did that work? Like a superhero cape or something?
Maybe not a cape, but think of it as a way to embody a more confident, capable version of himself. By creating this distinct persona, he could almost temporarily set aside those nagging doubts and fully embrace a more empowered identity when he was performing.
Okay, that makes sense.
And beyond that, he learned practical techniques to reset and refocus his attention when things didn't go as planned. And this is key. He started to focus more on the process of playing well, rather than just the outcome of the game.
That shift from being fixated on results, like the score, to focusing on the process seems really important.
Correct.
What kind of impact did these changes have, maybe from his parents' perspective?
Yeah, the case study includes a really powerful testimonial from his parent. They emphasized the profound impact Gabe had on their son's confidence. And this wasn't limited to just hockey. They saw a positive change in his self-assurance off the ice as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they expressed real gratitude for Gabe's support and his genuine approach.
So even at that young age, like 10, developing these mental skills is making a tangible difference. What's the takeaway here for our listeners, even if they've never put on skates?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights that learning to manage emotions and build self-confidence isn't some advanced technique just for elite athletes, right?
Great.
These are fundamental skills. They're crucial in any situation where you're facing pressure, whether it's youth sports, giving a presentation at work, pursuing a challenging personal goal, or honestly, just navigating everyday life with more resilience.
Okay, so the case study mentions CEP mindset. What's their core mission? What do they actually do?
CEP mindset, their main thing is delivering tangible results in mindset transformation. They do it primarily through personalized one-on-one coaching. Their primary goal is basically to help individuals identify and overcome the mental barriers holding them back from reaching their full potential.
And it sounds like they have a really interesting and diverse team of coaches doing this work.
They really do. The sources highlight a few individuals who bring just a wealth of varied experiences. There's Sarah Reichenbach. She's a former NCAA Division I hockey player and coach. But also, interestingly, she's certified in sleep science.
Oh, interesting connection. Sleep and performance.
Exactly. Then there's Adam, whose background spans psychology, neuroscience, and sports. Alexis Woleszczuk, another former pro hockey player, focuses specifically on resilience and confidence under pressure.
So lots of high-level sports experience.
Yeah, and then Gabriel Susenbacher-Fu, who's actually finishing a master's in counseling psychology. He also played high-level baseball and junior hockey, so he gets the internal challenges firsthand, like dealing with self-comparison.
Wow, that's a really wide spectrum of expertise. How does that diverse background benefit the people they work with, their clients?
Well, what's fascinating is that this variety of experiences allows them to connect with and really understand the challenges faced by a broad range of individuals. Well, they work a lot with athletes, hockey, baseball, soccer, you name it. They also coach business executives, performing artists, and others looking to enhance their mental game.
Okay.
It really underscores that the principles of mental performance aren't limited to just the sports world, you know?
So just to be clear, even if you're not an athlete, these coaches could potentially help with those feelings of self-doubt or overcoming mental obstacles in, say, your career or creative pursuits.
Absolutely. The core skills they focus on, things like managing stress, building confidence, improving focus, developing resilience, these are universally applicable. It's about learning those fundamental mental tools that can help pretty much anyone unlock their potential, whatever their field is.
Got it. Okay, now let's pivot a bit and explore the world of entrepreneurship. We have this collection of 13 business success stories. What overarching themes related to overcoming challenges and that self-belief we've been talking about really stood out from these narratives?
What's particularly insightful here is just the sheer variety of backgrounds and the unique obstacles these entrepreneurs faced. Yet, across all their stories, this powerful sense of self-belief and the ability to persevere, keep going in the face of adversity really shines through.
Okay, like who? Give us an example.
Well, take Mary Beth Hyland, the founder of Spark Vision. She actually channeled her really difficult personal experiences with childhood abuse into her work.
Wow.
Yeah, using those challenges not just as motivation, but as a way to deeply connect with others and build a business focused on creating more inclusive and supportive workplace cultures.
So it's almost like those difficult parts of your past can, in a way, become a source of strength and kind of inform your purpose. That's powerful.
Precisely. Then we have Eric Yuan, the founder of Zoom. His journey is just a testament to incredible persistence. He faced repeated visa denials. I think it took him 8 attempts before he was finally approved to come to the U.S.
8 times. Wow.
Yeah. And his initial idea for Zoom actually came from wanting to bridge the distance in a long-distance relationship. Now, obviously, it's this massive global communication platform. That level of, unwavering vision and refusal to give up is really striking.
That's an amazing example of resilience. Were there other stories that showed this theme of turning obstacles into opportunities?
Dawn Halfaker, who founded Halfaker and Associates, is another compelling example. She drew on her personal experience as a wounded veteran to build a company that deeply understands the needs of the military community. Her firsthand perspective and her commitment to hiring other veterans were crucial to her success. It just shows how lived experience can provide unique insights and really drive a mission-oriented business.
It seems like a lot of these successful ventures weren't just about a great idea then. They were often deeply rooted in personal experiences, or maybe a desire to solve a problem the founder themselves had encountered.
That's a key observation, yeah. Sarah Page Yu, the founder of Blue Land, she was driven by her own frustration with all the single-use plastic in her home. So she created a business offering sustainable cleaning alternatives.
Solving her own problem.
Right. And similarly, Harriet Mills of Wine and Design saw a gap in the market. this desire for casual, fun group painting experiences based on her own positive experience taking a paint and sip class. It highlights that sometimes the most impactful business ideas come from very personal pain points or just moments of inspiration.
And what about the ability to adapt? To change course when things don't go exactly as planned? That must be huge in business.
Oh, absolutely. Reese Powell of Red Rabbit offers a fantastic illustration of the importance of flexibility. His initial business model focused on parents ordering healthy meals online for their kids.
Okay.
But by paying close attention to his business data, he realized that working directly with schools was actually a more sustainable and impactful approach. So he strategically pivoted his entire model.
It takes guts.
It does. And that willingness to be receptive to feedback and, adapt your strategy is absolutely crucial in pretty much any endeavor. It's remarkable how these entrepreneurial journeys, even though they operate in such different spheres, really echo some of the core themes we saw with the young athlete, that blend of perseverance, drawing strength from experience, being adaptable in the face of challenges, and at the heart of it all, just a fundamental belief in their vision.
Exactly. The context is different, but the mindset has similarities.
Yeah.
Now, let's delve into some of the underlying psychology at play here. We've talked a bit about belief in oneself, and one of the key concepts that keeps emerging is self-efficacy. According to our sources, what exactly is it? How would you define it simply?
Yeah, the Very Well Mind article gives a really clear definition. Self-efficacy is essentially your belief in your own ability to successfully complete specific tasks and achieve your goals. It's about how confident you are in your capacity to influence events in your life and, importantly, to persevere when things get tough.
Okay, so it's task-specific belief.
Right. It's central to the work of psychologist Albert Bandura and his social cognitive theory, and it has a profound impact on how we approach difficulties and whether we ultimately succeed.
And there's a significant difference in how people with high self-efficacy versus low self-efficacy navigate the world, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Big difference. Individuals with a strong sense of self-efficacy tend to be more deeply engaged in what they're doing. They show greater commitment to their goals. They bounce back more quickly from setbacks.
That resilience factor again.
Exactly. And they tend to view challenging situations as opportunities to learn and grow, to master something new.
Okay, and the flip side, low self-efficacy.
Conversely, those with low self-efficacy might avoid difficult tasks altogether. They tend to doubt their own capabilities, they focus more on potential failures or past failures, and they can lose confidence quite easily when they hit an obstacle.
So the million-dollar question, how do we actually go about building and strengthening that sense of self-efficacy? Where does it come from?
Well, the Very Well Mind article outlines 4 primary sources. The first, and probably the most powerful, is mastery experiences.
Okay, what's that?
Essentially, successfully completing tasks and achieving your goals. Just doing it. These successes build a track record of accomplishment that reinforces your belief in yourself. I did it before, I could do it again.
Makes sense. Build momentum.
Right. The second is social modeling. This is learning by observing others succeed, especially when you see those people as being similar to yourself. Like, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Seeing peers succeed?
Yeah. The third is social persuasion. This is receiving encouragement and positive feedback from others, parents, coaches, mentors, friends that can help you overcome self-doubt.
That external validation can help.
It can. And finally, your psychological responses play a role. Learning to manage stress and negative emotions in challenging situations like the goalie learned to do can significantly improve your sense of self-efficacy. If you don't get overwhelmed, you feel more capable.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like this positive cycle. You succeed, you see others succeed, you get encouragement, you manage your stress, and all that reinforces your belief in yourself.
Exactly. It builds on itself.
Now, we also have a Headspace article that talks about confidence meditation. How does that fit into this picture? Is it the same as self-efficacy?
It's related, but the Headspace perspective offers a slightly different angle. They suggest that a fundamental sense of confidence actually exists sort of beyond our busy thinking minds. It's almost like an inherent knowledge of ourselves, quieter. Confidence meditation, then, is presented as a practice that helps you tap into this quieter, more innate confidence. By regularly practicing meditation, you can cultivate the ability to access this feeling of self-assurance more readily when you need it. And, over time, it can become a more natural state, less effortful.
And Headspace even offers a specific program designed to build self-esteem, right? A 30-day course.
Yeah, their 30-day self-esteem course focuses on developing 3 key skills. Learning to just observe your thoughts without judgment.
Not getting caught up in them.
Right. Using visualization techniques, similar to the goalie, and cultivating greater self-awareness overall. The aim isn't just to force positive thinking, but rather to gently shift your overall perspective towards what they call calm confidence.
Calm confidence. I like that.
And interestingly, research they cite has indicated that even relatively short periods of using Headspace can lead to a measurable reduction in negative emotions and an increase in overall life satisfaction.
That's a pretty compelling outcome. The article also touches on the importance of being present, especially when you're in a situation like giving a presentation. Why is presence relevant to confidence?
Well, it directly relates back to managing those psychological responses we just talked about.
Yeah.
Often feelings of fear and anxiety, they originate in our minds, right? We get caught up worrying about what might go wrong or how we might look.
Totally. Future tripping or past regretting.
Exactly. So by consciously bringing your attention to the present moment, anchoring your mind in your physical sensations, like your feet on the floor, your breath, you can actually reduce the power of those mental barriers and focus more effectively on your message, on what you're actually doing.
So less mental noise.
Less mental noise. And Andy Puddicombe from Headspace makes a really insightful point. He says he'd much rather listen to someone share their authentic self and message, even with some vulnerability, maybe a few ums and ahs, than watch someone deliver a perfectly polished, but ultimately impersonal robotic presentation. It's about valuing genuine self-expression over chasing some unattainable ideal of perfection.
That's a relief to hear, actually. Okay, shifting gears slightly again, our sources also include a study from the Diva portal that specifically looked at the well-being of entrepreneurs. And it focused on the role of what they call psychosocial resources. What did that research explore?
Yeah, this study really dug into how entrepreneurs utilize various inner strengths and external supports, things like their own belief in their abilities. That's self-efficacy again.
Okay.
Their tendency to look on the bright side. Optimism, their sense of self-worth, self-esteem, and the support they get from their families. It looked at how these resources help them navigate the unique and often really intense challenges of building a business and maintain their overall well-being.
And how did they define well-being? Can be a fuzzy term.
Good question. The researchers defined it pretty holistically. Not just feeling good, but also functioning effectively, having a sense of control and purpose, nurturing positive relationships, experiencing positive emotions, and importantly, having opportunities for personal growth, kind of the whole package.
Got it. And they gathered this information by talking directly to entrepreneurs, interviews.
Exactly. Their findings are based on in-depth interviews with entrepreneurs across various sectors. Regarding self-efficacy, the study revealed something interesting. While many entrepreneurs initially grappled with self-doubt, maybe lacking that track record.
Right, those mastery experiences.
Precisely. Their confidence tended to grow as their businesses gained traction and they got those wins. They also found that past successes became a crucial foundation for tackling new projects with greater confidence. And the entrepreneurs themselves saw self-efficacy as a key driver, not only of their business achievements, but also of their overall well-being and their ability to just solve problems effectively.
That really reinforces that idea of mastery experiences, building self-belief over time. What did the study find about the role of optimism?
Optimism came up as a significant source of motivation. It was a vital tool for maintaining resilience during the inevitable tough times that come with starting and running a business.
Sure. You have to believe things will get better.
You do. Optimistic entrepreneurs often actively sought out connections with other positive people, kind of building an optimistic network. And they leveraged their optimistic outlook to identify solutions and manage stress. But interestingly, the researchers also pointed out a potential cautionary note.
Ooh, what's that?
Excessive optimism could sometimes lead to underestimating challenges and potentially neglecting the risk of burnout. So rose-tinted glasses aren't always helpful.
Ah, that's a really important nuance. It's about finding a healthy, realistic optimism, maybe, rather than just being blindly positive. What role did self-esteem play in the well-being of these entrepreneurs?
High self-esteem was found to be crucial. Crucial for fostering a strong belief in oneself and for pursuing ambitious goals despite knowing you have flaws or have made past mistakes.
Accepting imperfection.
Right. It helped entrepreneurs to bounce back more readily from setbacks and to navigate challenging situations with a greater sense of inner strength, which ultimately contributed to their overall well-being. They used their self-esteem almost like an anchor to keep going even when things got really tough.
And finally, the study looked at family support. How significant was that piece for entrepreneurial well-being?
Oh, family support emerged as a really critical factor, hugely important. For many entrepreneurs, having the strong support of their partner was a key source of confidence and reassurance.
Someone in your corner.
Exactly. Knowing that their family had their back made the often daunting challenges of building a business feel more manageable. Family provided this vital safe zone away from the constant pressures of work, offering essential mental and emotional support, particularly during times of burnout, and for trying to maintain some semblance of work-life balance.
It really sounds like having a strong support network, whether it's family, friends, mentors, coaches like Babe, is absolutely vital for anyone facing significant challenges, not just entrepreneurs.
Absolutely, it's universal.
Right.
And the study also identified a range of other resources that entrepreneurs found beneficial for their well-being. Things like actively engaging in training and learning new skills, practicing meditation, taking time for self-reflection, reading relevant books, attending workshops, basically. All proactive strategies for nurturing their mental and emotional health.
So taking charge of their own well-being.
Right. And the study emphasizes this kind of virtuous cycle.
Yeah.
Utilizing these psychosocial resources helps build resilience, motivation, confidence, which in turn leads to a greater sense of mastery over their environment, fosters personal growth, strengthens positive relationships, and ultimately enhances their overall sense of well-being. It all feeds back into itself.
That makes sense. Our final source is a Forbes article that offers 3 unusually effective strategies for overcoming self-doubt. What are these less conventional approaches? They sound intriguing.
Yeah, they're interesting takes. The first strategy is to embrace risk, which the article cleverly terms targeted recklessness.
Targeted recklessness.
It isn't about being impulsive or truly reckless, but rather about deliberately weighing the potential benefits against the temporary discomfort of stepping outside your comfort zone. The article uses the example of performance artist Marina Abramovich, who consistently pushes boundaries in her work.
Right.
The underlying idea is that by taking calculated risks, you often discover that the potential gains, learning, growth, opportunity far outweigh the fear of the unknown or the temporary discomfort.
That's a really interesting reframing of risk-taking, facing the fear by doing the thing. What's the second unusual strategy?
The second strategy is to actively seek out freeing people and spaces. Basically, environments and relationships where you feel completely comfortable being your authentic self, without the pressure to conform or worry about judgment.
Finding your tribe, your safe spaces.
Exactly. This allows you to connect with your core sense of self-acceptance, which naturally bolsters your confidence. When you don't have to perform or pretend, you feel more solid in yourself.
That makes perfect sense. Feeling at ease in your surroundings can definitely have a powerful impact on your self-assurance. And what's the third strategy for tackling self-doubt?
The final strategy is to cultivate a mindset of bold experimentation. This involves using action as a way to directly confront self-doubt, instead of avoiding the things that trigger those feelings.
Like wanting everything to be perfect before you start.
Right. Instead of that, you dive in with a sense of curiosity and a focus on the process of learning, of just trying. The article cites novelist Karl Ove Knausgaard, who, despite experiencing intense self-doubt, embraced this really experimental approach to his writing, focusing on the act of creation itself, rather than being paralyzed by the fear of failure or judgment.
So it's about reframing self-doubt, not as a roadblock like a stop sign, but maybe as an invitation to explore and learn through just doing, through active engagement and experimentation.
Exactly. See what happens. Learn from it.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, what are the key threads, the main takeaways that weave through all of these different perspectives we've looked at?
Well, I think we've seen pretty clearly that cultivating self-efficacy, that core belief in your ability, alongside things like optimism, a healthy sense of self-esteem, and having strong support systems, these are really fundamental. They're crucial for navigating challenges and fostering well-being across pretty much all areas of life.
Yeah, from the hockey rink to the startup world.
Right, to just our everyday routines. The ability to effectively manage your emotions, to build that strong inner belief in your capabilities, and to embrace a mindset focused on growth and learning. These are the recurring and powerful themes that emerge again and again from all our sources.
And for you, the listener, what's the key takeaway? What should people walk away thinking about?
Ultimately, I hope this deep dive has encouraged you to maybe take a closer look at your own experiences with self-doubt, which we all have. And to consider incorporating some of the strategies we've explored today, this might involve actively seeking out opportunities to build those mastery experiences, getting small wins,
Right.
or maybe nurturing positive connections with supportive people, practicing self-compassion when you inevitably encounter setbacks, and just being willing to step outside your comfort zone and embrace a spirit of experimentation in tackling your fears.
That's incredibly valuable insight, really practical stuff. So, as a final thought to ponder, maybe consider this. What's one small but targeted act of recklessness, as Forbes put it, or one new experiment that you could undertake in your own life? Something that might directly challenge one of your own self doubts and potentially unlock some unexpected avenues for personal or maybe even professional growth.